Alta, we're speaking about 21st century learning today. This isn't a new thing. I mean, we've been in the 21st century for the past 15 years. Why is this still a topic we're talking about?
The main reason why it's a topic that is relevant and that should be relevant for a number of years is that change is happening so fast. And if we want to be ready for the challenges that our school-going generation will experience when they are adults, we will have to keep the conversation going.
Now, as an educator, tell me about that change. Tell me about the change you've seen in the past 15 years when it comes to how students are learning.
Well, I said it in my presentation that the internet came into play in 1990. Google came in 1998. And so the world is evolving. And I think to neglect the influence on our learners that all the social media and the existence of the internet and the changing world is having is just alienating their school world from the real world, which is actually sad. It is at risk of making school redundant if we're not careful.
When you say alienating the school world from the real world, what do you mean?
If you can imagine, if in the real world you take out your phone and you do everything on that, in the real world you Google what you need to know, but at school you're not. It's called cheating, they say. Collaboration is called cheating. And at school you are expected to sit quietly, listen for hours and hours to a teacher speaking, not having the opportunity to actively engage, living in a world that other people create instead of the world that you are participating in yourself creating.
Now, it's interesting you mentioned collaboration. Collaboration is kind of a hot topic lately with all of these shared workspaces happening, a lot of businesses looking to collaborate with other businesses. Are students being taught the right skills to really use collaboration?
Collaboration is one of the so-called 4 skills, which are one of the critical skills for the 21st century. A lot of people agree on that one. I think the world collaborates already, and collaboration is big. And the internet opens up the world for collaboration. What I think we need to change is the fact that collaboration is not valued at a school level. At the prize giving at the end of the year, all the prizes go for individual achievements. People don't actually recognize and value and reward students, especially school-going students, not university students, but school-going children are not rewarded for the skill to work together effectively.
Now tell me about what a 21st century classroom looks like. You mentioned social media, you mentioned using phones, using Google, having tablets. I think a lot of parents and maybe even traditional teachers might think all of these things would serve as distractions.
I think a 21st century classroom has got a few things that doesn't got anything to do with technology. There are 3 components in a classroom. The one is the content that we deal with. The one is the pedagogy, the learning goals, etc. And then comes technology. So you need to get the first 2 right, because technology will enhance good teaching, but technology will not necessarily change bad teaching into good teaching. That's quite important to remember. So I think good teaching, number 1, should be engaging, because our children live in such a stimulated world. You can't just expect them to sit quietly and listen for 30 or 40 minutes to a person talking. They need to be engaged. We need to actually make very sure that we get the pedagogy right to individualize the learning of children. I think those are the 2 very crucial, important components for a 21st century classroom.
Now, what needs to change in South African classrooms?
Oh dear, I think we need to, the thinking of our teachers should change. That's for me, that's the crucial thing. We need to address by conversation, like we try to do today, get this conversation, the conscientization, Paulo Freire called it. We need to make people aware of the importance to actually think about what it is that they do in classrooms, and to really engage in the conversation and find support, because there's a lot available once you start moving outside of your world and really become part of this whole global teaching community, form communities of practice, be inspired by ideas, and really be a cool teacher.
You said the thinking of teachers need to change. Do you think the thinking of parents also need to change?
Yes, and the thinking of parents can very often come in the way of teachers changing their ways. Yes, and that ends the conversation.
When you say the thinking of parents can often get in the way, what do you mean?
I mean that if teachers value different things from the things that parents value, and parents very often base their values on what they have experienced at school, and they just want that to be repeated, and that's dangerous.
What do you think government needs to do to foster this change?
I think we still have this brilliant opportunity to leapfrog from where we are currently to 21st century education in this country. We are struggling. The system is struggling, and the past 20 years didn't really bring about the change that we want to see. But perhaps that was because we wanted the change to be so traditional. I really think that by thinking, by actually collaborating as an education community, much more than the government. We are not a rich country. The resources of the government is limited, so we need to be innovative in planning and talking about this and getting a real plan together that will take us from where we are now into something completely different.